and basketball analysis with over 70 years combined experience. This is the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman Podcast.
Hi, everybody. It's time for the Bob Ryan Gary Tanguay pod here on CLNS Media, brought to you by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of CLNS Media Network. Pick more, pick less with Prize Picks. Okay, the Caitlin Clark story has come to an end, Bob, but boy, what a difference she has made for the WNBA. The numbers are up all over the place. She's making money. I hope this is going to mean more money for other players. It really has been something to watch.
It is a phenomenon. And, you know, just in general terms about women's basketball, I was introduced to it big time in '92 in the Dream Team, because in addition to covering the men, I covered the Dream Team game. I also covered the entire tournament for our women, and got introduced to the world of international women's basketball. And prior to that, the only real connection I had was locally. There was a tournament, I'm going to say 50 years ago at Northeastern, and I of some schools, and I went, and the play was embarrassing, was primitive. And one of the funny things about it was you never saw so many jump balls. And the reason was the ball handling was so bad.
Right.
And then they were diving on the floor for the ball that was always out there. You never saw so many loose balls. And it wasn't very good. But by the time I came around in '92, you were looking at good players. You were looking at good basketball. And I observed that no sport has come farther in a shorter period of time than women's basketball. Well, that was in 1992. And we've come exponentially farther since then in terms of the breadth of talent, and the depth of the talent worldwide. And so I really was enlightened a number of years ago. I was in LA during the finals, I guess it was, and the women were playing as well. And I went to a game, and I'm sitting in the first row, and I'm feeling, you could feel the energy. You know, the pace was really good. I was dazzled by, you know, what I was seeing. I remember I went to the game because Michael Cooper was coaching against Bill Laimbeer. And so anyway, this sport has come so far since, you know, and it's a tribute to so many people. But it still was off the radar for the average American sports fan. You know, it still is true that for the most part, women's basketball devotees, you know, we're husbands, fathers, and brothers and uncles and neighbors, you know, and not really Joe average fan, and that's changing so rapidly now. But the big boost, this Caitlin Clark phenomenon, and it's absolutely amazing what her presence has done for the game, and exposing us people to, oh, by the way, there's all these other great players, not really fine players that you didn't know anything about. Now you do.
Totally.
And so, you know, let's congratulate Aja Wilson for becoming a unanimous MVP, for example, our third one. And you know, people are being exposed to the Aja Wilsons of the world, and that's really.
And people feel Kelsey Mitchell is the best player on the Indiana team.
Yeah, right.
But
you know,
we see that because of Caitlin Clark.
Leads of Boston, and so yeah. But it's a true. So, but meanwhile, it's no question that this phenomenon. Now the rivalry with Angel Reese, which unfortunately has had to, you know,
right,
got mired in racial overtones, which is just despicable. Yeah. But you know, it's also, you'd be pretty naive to deny that Caitlin Clark being white doesn't, you know, bring fans that sadly that wouldn't have been there otherwise. I mean, that's stupid. You can't deny it. But you don't want that to be the focus of any rivalry with Angel Reese. People are equating it to Bird and Magic, you know, and
right.
In more sense, and to a degree, yeah, you know, that you can draw that parallel, you know, for sure. But anyway, with Caitlin Clark, is her presence has put a focus on the WNBA.
Well, to watch the game, you said it, okay. To talk about the product, to watch the game if you're a basketball fan is enjoyable.
Yes.
It's enjoyable. Okay. Now, if you look at ticket prices, Bob, and $20 can get you in. I mean, I just looked online. Maybe they've gone up. I'm sure they've gone up. Okay. But it's not $300, $400, $500 to take two people to a Celtics game.
No, but they are going to go up. There's a very enlightening story in today's. It's in the Athletic, which means the New York Times. This is where I read it.
Right.
Sports,
Yeah.
That's going to be part of the deal, though. Now, the people, as the need to make more money, and the idea that they will raise these ticket prices. But meanwhile, it's still relatively affordable compared to the men. And the game itself, I said a long time ago, 10, 15 years ago, that it's the men's game of 30 years ago.
Right.
It's not going to be played in the air. If that's your big passion, okay. Sorry, you're not going to have the 50-foot alley-oops. You're not going to have it played in the air. That's not the way it's played. But it's fundamentally the way basketball used to be played, and by the men, and is still being played nicely by the women. And of course, the shooting is good. The fast breaks are good. I mean, no, the product is a very enjoyable product, and it's only going to get better because, I mean, this inspiration that Caitlin Clark and company have had with these young girls in America, there's going to be, there's not going to be any turning back.
Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. All you do is you pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you just watch those winnings roll right in. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Want to play Prize Picks alongside Drewski, Joe Budden, and MMA champ Sean Sugar O'Malley? You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the Prize Picks community each week. So this is how it works, okay? So you just pick more or less. So Aaron Rodgers, he's going to throw more than 325 passing yards. How about that this week? Aaron Rodgers to throw more than 325 passing yards or less. Travis Kelce, less in 100-yard in receptions. That easy. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. And I also think that the reason Caitlin Clark became so popular, I think, in the college game, it was a time when the men's college game really is suffering.
Well, yeah, that is going through this, and to what extent women are going to be affected by this compared to the men, with the NIL and the transfer stuff.
Right.
It's all sitting there, and women are making money. I don't know that the transfer portal is as.
I think it's going to hurt men more. I don't know. It just seemed to me. People want to root for somebody, they want to root for a team, they want to become accustomed to a roster. They want familiarity with their team.
Yeah.
And Caitlin's team was very familiar. I mean,
yeah.
The timing. I mean, look, UConn won back-to-back championships with a different roster.
Right. You're right. And
so there's no familiarity for the fans.
No, it's the fan experience, because we've broadened this discussion. The fan experience
is different.
Changing. People are going to have to adapt because it's not going to go back. It's not going to go back. There might be wonderful, and these will be stories that'll be, nice little juicy subplot stories for some writers down the road about, here's a guy that started out as a freshman and he was averaging 4 points a game, and now he's a senior and he's a possible first-round draft pick. Well, those stories used to abound. Well, they don't exist right now because
right.
That is very, very rare. But the women, you might still have that coming with the women. I don't know that there's going to be the wholesale upheaval of rosters that
right.
are now experiencing. We'll see.
Well, I could tell you this as a girl dad. And my weekend consisted of approximately 14 hours of either field hockey or lacrosse. I can tell you that the endorsement money for the women will be there. And I think Caitlin set the table. She got the $30 million from Nike. And a lot of young women play basketball. They play, and it's not just going to be basketball. If they're smart, it's going to go to other areas. It's going to go to training shoes and so forth. I mean, I could tell you in my family, my kids not only play sports, but they train and they go to these different gyms and they got these different routines and so forth. Mm-hmm. And I need training shoes and I need basketball shoes and I need, they're probably taking me to the cleaners, Bob. Well, what can I say? But I'm saying is that, for the women and not just Caitlin Clark, but for the women in general, I think there's going to be more endorsement money. And that's where the real money is. Even with look, Jordan retired. I mean, he's a billionaire because of Nike, not because of the Bulls.
No question. No, I understand. I mean, already though, just the fallout from other sports, two other sports that I forget the name of the gymnast, but this making more.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Little stuck to get her name. I'm sorry. I apologize, folks, but I can't remember her name. But I know there's some gymnasts out there raking it in big time, and and there are states and areas where other women's sports or different sports are more popular. So, it's great. It's good. But in terms of back to the whole thing with the WNBA, it's really a heartening thing. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for everybody. And now, and by the way, they're going to expand.
Simone Biles is who you're speaking of.
Three new teams in 2 years. We're going to have a team in the Bay Area, the Valkyries. I love that. The Valkyries, and we're going to have Toronto, which is unnicknamed yet, and of course Portland is coming in 26 as well. So it is expanding. And the thing is, it's needed because making a WNBA in the context of their world is a lot harder than making the NBA or making it because the players are out there and the jobs aren't. And but now there's going to be more opportunity and that's going to be great.
Look, there's nothing like seeing a game live. I mean, watching it on TV is great. We have all the technology. We have our phones. We have access to everything. But being there in person is definitely the way to go. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. For example, coming up in October, $147 to see the Dolphins at New England. That's a good deal, folks. That's an AFC each grudge match. Also, great deals on BC tickets, Boston College tickets, as they're headed in the right direction over at the Heights. Curated deals make it easier to find the best price on great seats. You got the super deal. Seat views before you buy. Lowest price guarantee, even cancellation protection, job loss protection. They've got so many different angles for you. Game Time Picks. Curation makes it easier for you to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. You could toggle along with all-in pricing. The feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Plus, you get a great view from your seat. Get a panoramic view from the seats that you're about to buy. You don't have to buy them, and you get the view, so you know what you're getting. Lowest price guarantee or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time.
All right, Bob, let's segue into some other NBA news. Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask you this. Who was the first female basketball player? Was it that you remember that came on big?
Well, you had I used to know her name for sure. The stunt that the Warriors played when they drafted
right.
Iowa.
Ann Myers, Nancy Myers.
No. She was legit from UCLA. Ann Myers certainly would be one for sure. Carol Blazejowski for sure. And Nancy Lieberman.
Nancy Lieberman Klein.
These are the real pioneers, that really put it over the map. And Ann Myers, that group right there. The original 76, the first year the women were in the Olympics. That original group, and Ann Myers was the star of that. But Carol's place down. There's three names for sure. I'll throw you out there right now. And so they're the Billie Jean Kings of the deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course the '96 team was awesome, and they were undefeated. They played over 60 games in preparation, and saved their best for last. They pounded Brazil in the finals, and that group was terrific. And I tell you who I still don't think there's a better point guard maybe in the league than Dylan Staley was. And Lisa Leslie, great pivot player. They set the standard that they're now trying to reach. So that's it. But I'll give answer your question. The three names that jump out at me, right, with Ann Myers, Carol Blazkowski, and Nancy Lieberman Klein later.
Okay, now we can segue to this. Joel Embiid is going to be in Philadelphia till he's 30 anyway. I wasn't so sure that was going to happen, but he signed who can turn down an extra $193 million for an extension? I guess when it comes to the money, no one can turn. We're very unfair with players. We think, it's not just about the money. Will he go and try to win somewhere else? Well, when you have his health history, it is going to be about the money and security.
He is an interesting case here because we know he's good, very good, has been an MVP, is a beautiful scorer. He absolutely is a contest. He had a game in the 22-23 season when he hit the Celtics with like 52. And I raved about how effortless and versatile it was and how smooth and good looking it was. And I got hooted down by some people because they didn't want to acknowledge it, that he had done this to the Celtics, but he had. But the thing about him that everybody knows, it's keeping him in the lineup. And this past year, he played 39 games. Oh, he averaged 34 points a game. He played 39 games, not even half a season. He has never played more than 68 games in an 82-game season. And yet here's the but with him in terms of paying him. Is he around when you need him in the spring? And the answer in the past had been not necessarily. So, he will be 31 in March. Is there any indication that he is going to stop getting hurt? This is a tremendous risky investment, don't you, in that regard? It's not that he isn't good. We know that he's damn good. And he's a good ambassador too. He's fun. He's controversial. He's funny. He's a public person.
Right.
His Xing or his Instagramming and all this stuff. He's willing to get engaged. So he's a guy that people can follow and enjoy or not enjoy. But he's around. So I wish him well, and I like watching him play. And it'd be nice with one of these years though. He could play at least 70 games.
You're right. I wonder if Philly just feels they need to keep that one guy there to keep fans interested, to sell tickets. I don't know. But when we see what the Celtics are going to be sold for, the $193 million is not a lot of money.
I know. When we're talking that, that it's a minimum of $6 billion, you're going to need to pony up to get the Celtics.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And, I by the way, as an aside, I hope that Steve Pagliuca is the guy that can round up the money bags and get it done. I just don't want to see some outsider that come in that we wouldn't know anything about it, we couldn't trust. I'm rooting for Pags, but that's a lot of dough. I understand, but there always seemed to be somebody out there, some rich guy that.
Well, Pags wants to win. There's no doubt about that. So I agree with you 100%. All right, Bob, that'll do it for this edition of Bob, Ryan, and Gary Tanguay, our podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. And Bob, let me just get our wonderful sponsor in here, brought to you by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of CLNS Media Network. Pick more, pick less with Prize Picks. See you next time, Bob.
Very good.